Hello, Jason Woodard here with my newest sword design. This is my version of the Sting sword. These are made by Chris Palmer over at Scorpion Swords and Knives. They are made to order. All his weapons, and this weapon is full tang, one piece of steel, 3/16 thick. This will be available at the Sword Buyer's Guide and Cult of Athena. This is my version of the sword, and the total length of this sword is 28.5 inches. The blade length is actually 19 inches. The blade width is 2 7/8 over the guard. The handle is 9.5 inches, and this is a blood wood. It weighs 3 pounds 2 ounces. The point of balance is about 2.5 inches past the guard, so it's got a really good balance point, and it feels really good in the hand. I'm going to start testing it here, and you can also get it with this nice water buffalo black leather sheath that fits it very well. So this is the beginning of my review. I will do some harsh testing, and then I will finish up with my final thoughts. Thank you. Sting sword to see how sharp the edge is. Good and sharp. All right. The Sting sword to see how good the edge is, how sharp it is, versus 3 jugs. Here we go. Nice and sharp. All right, Sting sword versus a very large cow bone. Let's see how it holds up. Still in the plastic wrap, but it shattered it. And that is what's left of the cow bone versus the Sting sword. Next test. All right, taking the Sting sword, I'm going to stab it through this car hood to see how well tempered the tip is, and maybe a couple of swings at it. So here we go. Here's your tip after, a couple of swings. Here's your edge after swinging. No edge damage, no edge rolling. Everything's still straight, everything's still tight. Next test. All right, Sting sword, gonna strike it against this vehicle, see how well it does. Here's your edge after. Everything's still straight, great balance. Next test. All right, Sting sword, see how well the tip holds up, stabbing at the roof of the vehicle. Here's your tip after. Everything's straight, solid, hanging up, holding up well. Next. All right, I'm going to test the Sting sword against a knight's helmet to see how both hold up. Here we go. Here's your edge after. And now a close-up of the knight's head. Get close in there. You can just kind of see. Look at the damage. Sting wins. Next test. All right, I'm taking the Sting sword, my design, and stabbing it into the steel drum to see how well the tip holds up. Here we go. Here's the tip after. No serious damage. Looks just like it did. Holding up very well. Next test. All right, taking the sting sword, striking against a steel drum to see how the edge holds up. All right, two-handed swing to see how it's going to hold up. Get a good close look at the edge. No real edge damage. No rolling, no chipping. Let's look down here at the steel drum. Superficial edge damage, but nothing serious. Tempered up well. All right, here is my version of the sting sword. I'm going to strike it against this metal pole to see how well the edge holds up. So, here we go. All right, two-handed strike. Let's get a good look at the edge. All right, let's get a good look at the pole versus the edge. Come on in close. As you can see, it is very well tempered. No edge damage. On to the next test. All right, I'm taking the sting sword and I'm going to strike it against a cheap katana and a vise to see how well the edge holds up. Here we go. All right, come close. Let's get the edge. Here is the edge after. Here is the strike points against the sting sword. Hold up very well, still straight, well balanced, nothing come apart. Next test. All right, the last and final test for the sting sword. This is a torture test. You should never do this to any sword because no sword can withstand this. It's going to damage any edge, no matter what it's made out of and who made it. This is just to show how durable it is and how safe it is to actually use. So here we go. Don't try this at home. All right, kids, let's see the damage. Some slight edge damage, some nice scuffs, but overall it's not that bad. Nothing I can't grind out and buff out in less than 5 minutes. Everything has remained straight, everything has remained solid. Scorpion Swords and Knives does a great job, and Chris makes every one of these to order. He does a great job. All well tempered, it has held up well. I will finish up with my final thoughts. Thank you. Hello, Jason Woodard here with my final thoughts on my newest sword design. This is my version of the Sting Sword, based off the Lord of the Rings sword and in the Hobbit films. It's held up extremely well. This one is full tang, so it's battle ready, properly heat treated. I've made it to the size where you can one-hand it or two-hand it. It's got a great balance point of about 3 inches past the actual guard. It's a good cutter. It's very sharp and has held up very well to all of my harsh testing, striking against wood, metal, and granite. Just took a little bit of edge repair, buffing that out, grinding that out, and it's back to new. It's held up extremely well. I'm very proud of this design. This will be available at Scorpion Swords and Knives. These are made by Chris Palmer to order. These will also be available at Cult of Athena and the Sword Buyer's Guide. So if you're a big Lord of the Rings fan, like the Sting Sword, this one's for you. Let's talk about the Sting Swords, or daggers as you would say, from the films. One company made it in this size, and this was sized for the vertically challenged people in the film, the short people, the stunt doubles that were meant to look like hobbits. So this was the size that they made, when actually a full-size person was carrying this one in the film, something about this size. So I wanted something a little more robust, a little heavier, and I came up with this one, which is quite a bit bigger and heavier. But it's got great balance. This is a great weapon, and these will be available to order now, actually. So thank you guys for watching my reviews. It's held up well. I'm very proud of this one, and if you're interested in one, go ahead and order one now. Until next time, thank you.
I have such delights for you. Step up and take a look. You will be the next that I will cook.
The Sting Sword, perfect for killing goblins and orcs. And giant spiders too.